Okay, so welcome back, and this is part 4, the final part where I do some technical analysis for you guys.
And you know, just a reminder, so you know, if we've got a lot of inflation data leading up to the FOMC meeting decision this coming week, so you know, expect some big moves, I would say. And of course, you know, it's going to be a question of whether they're going to skip or they're going to do 25 basis points for the Fed. And of course, CPI could swing it one way or the other. And then, of course, you've got ECB, which is pretty much a done deal for a 25 basis point increase. Now, the indices analysis, I'm just going to warn you here, I've moved on now to the September futures contract as June expires this Friday as part of the quad witching. So just a reminder of the legend. So black numbers in the right hand column, they are going to be support and resistance levels based on trend lines. Brown numbers are breakout levels. Claret numbers, these horizontal lines that I put in, are either levels where I see support or resistance, or whether they're on double, triple tops or bottoms. Just a reminder of the pivot point colors and also the fib colors, and there is at least one chart with the fibs this week.
So, you know, as usual, just remember that you can always take screenshots or pictures with your camera just to sort of keep these. Now, you know, that's more relevant, obviously, for the dailies. The 30-minute ones are not going to stay so relevant for so long, just because prices change, especially in these markets. But, you know, the dailies should, to a degree, hold in for longer. And so they're ones that you can just keep a note of those levels. So I've got some resistance levels. I'll start with the Dow as usual. So on the daily, you know, it didn't have such a bad performance really during the week. Sort of pretty flat, I would say, by the end of the week, but still strong for this time of year. So I've got resistance at 36,658, also at 36,454. I've got support at 35,861. Now lower down I've got this breakout level. You know, it's sort of a semi-support, but it's more a case of if it breaks this line for me at 34,873, I can see it breaking lower. Now my rationale behind these is when it comes up to these long candles, there's much less to defend once it breaks through. And then, you know, the next area for me where it may find a little bit of support is, you know, when it comes back up to these previous highs here. But, you know, the main support for me when I look at this, getting those 3 points across, is 34,029. Okay, so on the 30-minute, I've got a nice resistance level up here at 36,342. But to be honest with you, I couldn't really find a decent support. So I didn't add one. Now, you know, again on Friday we can see here that this R2 was rejected. It found a little bit, you know, what was R1 sort of just market held just above that. But again, you know, if you look during the day, apart from this big sell-off earlier on, that we had all of this area where the market sort of consolidated and held at the pivot level. And you know, the pivot points are great if you know how to use them. So again, reach out if you're not sure. Okay, so here I'm moving on to the S&P. So again, a strong finish from the stocks. So I've got resistance on the daily at 46.14. You know, it's just this trend line coming across. I do like to get 3 touching points. I'm not keen on 2. You know, I look for high probability trades. And then I've got a support below that at 45.44. Again, you know, if the market starts to sell off, I've got a breakout level here at 44.99. Again, on that basis, you know, once it gets through here, I wouldn't expect there to be much support on the way down. And then I've got a support trend line in there lower down at 42.78. Moving on to the 30-minute, I've got a resistance level up here at 46.14. And again, it found towards the end of the day, it found a little bit of support at what was R1, the first resistance level. But again, I just couldn't find a really strong support line, so I didn't put it in. Don't make lines up. If you can't see it, then there isn't one. And if there isn't one, but you try and make one up, all that happens is you're going to lose money. Because it's not going to be a high probability trade. Okay, then moving on to the Nasdaq. So that finished the week pretty much on the highs. It's been a good performance from the Nasdaq this year. So, okay, resistance on this nice trend line I managed to get in going up here at 16,266. And then I've sort of found this flat level across here, these three peaks here at 16,123 for resistance. Support wise, I've got 15,818. Then on the way down, I've got a couple of breakout levels. So I've got the first one up here at 15,459 and a second one at 15,129. So this is the 30-minute. So on here I've got resistance at 16,125. Got a trend line support here at 15,969. And then I've sort of found another level. So interestingly here I've got 2 points pretty much there. But if you look over to the left over here, there was a resistance level before. So, resistance, once it breaks above, becomes support. And here's one of those tests for it. And again, it sort of rejected there and then had that really big move up. This is a 30-minute, so this was only Friday where we saw all of this. So resistance at 16,125, support at 15,969, and second support at 15,889. And of course, the pivot point levels change every day. And you can see that the solid blue line that you see is always this line here. This is always the pivot point level. And then you've got the S1, S2 below supports, R1, R2 above for resistances. And you can also produce more of those if the market breaks out through those levels. So moving on to the Russell 2000, these are the small cap stocks. Got resistance at 1900. I got support at 1802. Again, if it breaks on the downside, I've then got a breakout level at 1770. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 1890. I've got support at 1879, which is not far away from where it closed. So, depending on the opening, that could become a resistance rather than a support. So we'll have to wait and see for that. And then I've got a trend line on there where support is at 1866. Okay, so the dollar had a bit more of a good ending to the week. It's consolidating. When you look at how, just for me, they've still got the strongest economy. Yes, they got a lot of debt. I don't really like their political setup, but overall, they got the best economy. You can't argue against that. So how can you say that their rates should be coming lower, or yield should be coming lower, or the dollar should be coming lower when they are the strongest economy? So anyway, so let's have a look at what happened. And here we go for resistance. I've got at 127.17. I've got another resistance at 126.13. Now I've managed to get this trend line coming up here, which is at 124.95. Being a fan of the dollar, it's difficult for me to want to buy some of these currencies against it. And then, you know, again, when we come down to here, I can see this 123.75 being, you know, if it does fail and it starts to break on the downside, if it gets through there, then I can see more sort of opportunity for it maybe to come back even down to that 121 level. But you know, we've still got 2 or 3 weeks of the year left, so it's not going to happen quickly. And just looking at the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 126.13, 125.56. I've got a little bit of a breakout level here at 125.44. What I've linked up is this low here, along with these couple of lows here as well. So that's why I think if it gets through there, it could be a little bit of a breakout on the downside. This area around here, that doesn't seem too much to convince me that it's going to be a support area. Always just remember, these are just purely my views. You know, I'm just trying to help you, give you my insight into what I see. It doesn't mean that it's obviously that the market's going to follow that. And then here's the euro against the dollar. So again, got a nice trend line up there at 110.70. Now the euro does tend to struggle in that 110, 111 area. Yeah, and as you know, we can see from there in the summer it got up to that 113, but it really struggles. So, and of course, as you can see now, it's all the way back down below 108. So again, so resistance at 110.70. Support I've got at 107.27, 106.71. and 105.25. So again, it's really going to just depend on, you know, sort of the dollar, what the Fed say this week, and of course there's the Bank of England and ECB meetings as well, so they're going to impact the euro and the pound. So it's going to be a very interesting week, and you know, probably the last full week to be trading at a guess. Of course, there's another couple to come, but just be more cautious as you get closer towards Christmas. So here's the 30-minute for the euro. I've got resistance at 107.85 and 107.71. Just got this downtrend line there. That one just coming off of those peaks. Now, you know, there's a little bit of support round about this 107.60, but I just don't feel that it's going to hold. So again, you know, it's just my personal view. So whether it will find a little bit of support there, I don't know. But I didn't draw it in because I wasn't that confident of that one. Well, what can we say about Bitcoin? I suppose, you know, we look at what the stock market's done this year. We look at what's gone on with all the different markets this year. But this has probably been the best performer, and you know, a lot of that has just come in recent months, you know, since the middle of October really, and just look at the sort of the move that it's had. You know, you go back into September, it was down at 25,000, and then here we are 20,000 higher at 45,000. You know, a lot of it is regulation or potential regulation. A lot of it is acceptance. A lot of it is around, obviously, the numerous ETF applications that have been sent in. But, you know, what a difference a few months makes. You know, you look at sort of how it was just consolidating and almost just ranging for most of this early part of the year. But in, you know, sort of the second half, especially in the last quarter, it's really taken off. And of course, you know, if you want to understand Bitcoin or how to analyze it, how to trade it or anything, then we provide courses that include crypto, digital, as well as the traditional assets. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 45.275. I've got support at 44.560, and 44,470. So, you know, it's there, and those trend lines are uptrends at the moment. So, you know, it's going to take something really negative to come out. I mean, even sort of exchange lawsuits haven't really sort of had that much effect in the last recent months. I mean, everything negative is just pretty much being ignored for the moment. Okay, so as usual, I sort of leave in the Bitcoin Nasdaq as a daily. As you can see, both climbing up nicely together. So we've had the big move up with the red one, which is the Bitcoin, and of course the stocks positive at the moment as well. You know, I would say traditionally the stocks do tend to finish the year firm, and of course the funds love that because it's going to improve their valuations for end of 2023. Okay, so let's have a look at gold. So yeah, if we, I mean, look at gold on sort of, this was Asian hours on when the market first opened Sunday night, so Monday's session, had a massive spike up. I managed to catch that on the way back down, which was nice. But you know, 21.55, I've got resistance there. I've also got resistance at 20.98. As you can see, for the rest of the week after that, you know, it was down, and Friday's mixed jobs data, a bit stronger than expected, did again force a little bit more of a sell-off, but it recovered a little bit. And I got support at 2011. If it does break through the 2000s and start to come off, then I've got breakout on the downside at 1955 and also 1934. And you know, it's going to take something crazy to get down there, or maybe just maybe sometime next year. But there is this gap down here that could be filled at some stage. At the moment, it doesn't look as though it's going to get anywhere near it. But you know, these markets move so fast these days. And gold has become more and more volatile, and that, you know, that's around sort of 1870 area. If it starts coming down towards that, obviously I'll bring that one in and put in the correct numbers for that. And then looking on the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 2046. There's a breakout level on the upside should it get through 2031. And then I've got support lower down at 2020. You know, I must admit I haven't traded as much gold this year as I usually do. It just, a lot of the time, it just hasn't made sense to me. So if I can't see genuine opportunities and they fit in with my sentiment, then I just don't trade the contract. You know, sometimes the best trade is no trade. Okay, so last but not least, oil. So I've got resistance at 85.16, also 79.63. You know, these OPEC cuts this year, there's been 3 agreed ones, one where the last one which was more sort of voluntary, because, you know, some members just don't want to keep cutting. You know, they need that revenue. They haven't all got the luxury of a lot of cash in the bank. And then so 79.63 resistance there, 73.80 was a support level that's now turned resistance just for the moment, and then lower down support at 68.86, which is pretty much the low of the week, and below that 67s. So, you know, again, it might consolidate a little bit around here. I would guess that the US are starting to rebuild their strategic reserves at these sort of levels. I don't know that, I'm just guessing, but you would expect them to sort of be looking to replace some of the oil that they sold out to try and help the market go lower and add supply at one stage earlier in the year. And finally, here we go for the 30-minute. So I've got support at 70.75. Sorry, below that I've got 68.86. I've got a breakout support level at 70.13. Should it get down there? Above that, I've got support at 70.75. As I said, 71.12 is going to be probably a little bit of depends where it opens, whether it's a support or it might turn into a resistance level. It's support at the moment. And then above that, I've got 71.94 as a resistance level, but it's a breakout level. So if it does get through there, then it could go back up and test the sort of 73s again. So, you know, again, I hope you enjoy this analysis. Just remember, this is all futures based that I do this analysis on. These are futures. But, you know, if I can help you in any way, if I can give you any advice, then just reach out to me. All the contact details are always on the slides. As I always say, you know, I'm happy to hear from you guys. You know, part of what I do is to try and help you. You know, apart from my trading, that's what I really enjoy doing, is trying to pass on my knowledge and skills to others. So have a great week. You know, it's going to be a busy week because of all the central bank meetings and other data that's coming out. There's quite a lot coming out. And then after that, it should start to quieten down for the last week or two around Christmas. So take care and look forward to seeing you next week.
Again, just finally, a little reminder of what we do. So apart from the YouTubes, daily newsletters that go straight to your inbox each morning to provide you with global headlines, global news, and also my views. And then if you'd like to subscribe, we also provide chart levels and pivot points. When it comes to courses, we offer everything from one-day workshops, one-week courses. One of those includes a free trading challenge, up to the comprehensive masterclass, which is an accredited course, and the next one of that starts in a week's time on the 19th of June. So if you're interested, then contact us quickly because those places won't be around for long. Now, also trader mentoring, where we help traders improve and get to that next level time and again. We consult to companies, FX and commodity exposure. We provide a whole platform and mass of educational content to individuals, exchanges and brokers. And as usual, we start with our disclaimer. So trading involves the potential risk of loss of capital. It's not suitable for everyone, although hopefully it is for you. When it comes to leverage, just be careful because you can lose substantially more than that initial investment. Everything we include in here is just purely for educational purposes. You know, we're not trying to provide you with advice. We're just trying to help you prepare, understand the markets better. To help you make better decisions, but of course, you know, if you are looking to invest or trade, that has to be your decision. And before you make that, you should consider your financial situation, your level of experience and your risk appetite. And of course, on your risk capital, you're prepared, but more importantly, can afford to lose. If you've got any doubts whatsoever, seek independent financial advice before risking your capital.